All right, so Jamie cleaned up all my injectors. He had to change 2 of them out because he cleaned them for 4 hours and they still didn't, they got a little better, but they weren't sufficient. They were about 10 to 8% down, so those holes would have been a little bit lean and they would have had to have 10 to 8% of fuel added into them individually. But we don't have EGRs, so we can't see all that stuff unless we were to actually, you know, manually look at the injectors and see that, oh, these ones are slower. But if you have EGRs, you can see the temps of the cylinders coming out. You can see these cylinders are a little cooler, they're not getting as much fuel, or these ones are a little hotter, they're, you know, they got too much fuel in them, or vice versa, blah 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 blah. So you can tune and adjust all that. But he just changed out 2 of the injectors, got them all flowing the same, they're all flowing good. I'm gonna get them all back in here. I've already pumped all my old gas out. I ran 91 through the system, ran it through the system, back out into this jug, and then that jug, we're gonna stick it in my dad's Accord and he's gonna drive home on that stuff. But other than that, we're gonna put it all back together and see if it still misfires or anything. I don't think it will. I think it'll rev great. I think it'll drive great. I'm excited. The race is coming up. I'm freaking pumped. Everything's coming along really great at the shop. Things are coming along really great. Brad's got 24.5, so we're gonna be on the stock Del Sol this weekend, as well as Austin will have 24.5s too. So they're gonna borrow Gordo's wheels because we don't have the short block sleeved yet, but we're working on it. And me and my dad were just talking. We have a second sleeved B16 at the house. B16s aren't used very much. It's like 83, 84. It's pretty overboard, but no one uses it because the oil feed fitting broke off. So the not the feed fitting itself, but the block, the aluminum in the block, they cross-threaded a NPT1 or something in there and it snapped the housing. So that needs welded closed. It needs to have a sandwich plate on it and run the oil feed that way. That's why the block's not being used. But we can start getting going on that one for Gordo's and get that one welded up and start getting that one situated. And then while this one's being sleeved, Gordo will have a spare, you know, being put together, because that's the kind of program he needs. And the spare will be stock bore and everything. It won't be overboard yet. So the one he'll have in the car will be kind of a big bore for a B16. I mean, a big bore for B series, honestly. I think it's either 84 or 85. I know I said 83 earlier, but I was just trying to keep you guys positive. But I think it's almost 85. It's huge, honestly. But we're gonna get that figured out. We'll get pistons on the way for it. We'll get that one built and get Gordo back out there. We got some cool stuff coming for his. I'm excited to see how crisp and clean it runs these days after it's all back together. Whew, it's gonna be epic. This weekend it's gonna be sick. It's IFO next weekend. This weekend's PSCA, IFO next weekend. If you are an IFOer, even if you're not an IFOer, you got to come out. Make sure you guys make the appearance just so we can have IFO again next year. This is the first IFO in Colorado, and we don't want to just have them have an IFO and then nobody show up, you know. So make sure it's a big one so that they can have another one next year, because that's what we need. We need the scene to grow and blow up. So stay tuned for today. It's gonna be epic. I'm excited. It's a little dark. Let's try and find a brighter view. I like that. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I love this thing, guys. This thing is beautiful. Work of art. All right, so I'm gonna go get the tools. We'll tighten all this up, and then we'll put the fittings on and tighten those up. My little rig, check this out. So this is how I pump the fuel. So I had all the fuel system hooked up, and then I didn't have an adapter to get a hose that would to adapt it long enough to get out here, and I couldn't find a radiator hose long enough that I could stick it over either. So I just clamped that on there, and I stuck this little metal thing in here and blasted it into the tank. I moved this over and I put it right here, and I just blasted it in. Oh, it was wild. The first few times I tried to use an ORB fitting and tried to rig up a whole thing, but the ORB fitting just, you know, they don't tighten up. So it was blasting fuel everywhere, and it was way worse than this little rig I made. So this was round 2, and we won the fight. Just doing it, man. Alright, so I'm running fuel through the whole system one more time. I have the injectors off, so they're not open or anything, not drawing fuel through them. And we're just got the return line off, running fuel all the way through the system, blasting it out. Doesn't look like we got any gunk in there. This is a 91 E85, a little mixture. It's nothing that we want to put in any cars or anything besides, you know, like a daily driver of my dad's, you know? So we'll just keep doing this. I'm gonna actually check my fluid. Oh, time to turn it off. That's how fast it runs through 3 gallons, guys. Woo! So yeah, we were checking our fluid here. I could use a little bit, but we are not very low. Nice. This thing's coming. I'm excited, dude. You ready? We're gonna get that full hit. That's all we're going for. A to B, 3rd and 4th. Let's go through the traps under load. Come on, girl, you can do it. Like, we've had 12.5 volts plus all day. It started when I started draining this morning. I haven't been hooked up to the charger at all day. I turned it on at 13 volts without the charger on it. And that's what we want. And I just ran the pump 3 times, full to run 3 times, running 3 gallons. So that's, I mean, a pass of the amount of time I ran it, and I've only lost half of a full, 0.5 volts. I've gone from 13 to 12.5, so it's exciting. I'm pumped. I turned the dash off. Everything's off. Woo! I'm ready. Let's do it. She's gonna get a 91 tune, so when we're here at the shop, I can run the fuel out of it, put 91 in it, putz it around, drive it, park it, do whatever I need to do, and not have to worry about this happening again. Because I do just have a plastic gas tank here, and methanol is a monster. It is probably just eating it alive and tearing it up. So we're gonna have to do that, and that'll help a lot. But the only thing we can really do is later on we need like a stainless gas tank. People don't really make stainless gas tanks because it's expensive, but that would be the most beneficial way to keep this from happening. The methanol wouldn't eat the stainless. It slowly eats aluminum. You have to anodize it and stuff. But if I had a stainless gas tank, it'd never be an issue. So we're gonna have to look into that. That's definitely something that needs to be done. I'm excited though. Stay tuned, guys. Race is coming up. We got Dustin's on the dyno right now. We've been building that car for a really long time. Stroker engine, dart block. It's just sick. It's epic. So stay tuned for that. I'm sure it's gonna come out on the PFI channel soon. Races are coming. Everything's coming. The CRX is ready to go home. She's done. And the Neon's right there too. I think we actually did start the Neon. The Neon's been running, but we haven't tuned it yet. It's got a few little bugs. We got to work out some cam sensor stuff, I think, and then that one will be good. Uncle Chet's, it's all caged and ready to go. We fixed the transmission. There's a few things it needs, and then it's ready to rip out at Lemons, I think is what he's doing with that. That's gonna be awesome. This one here, we need to do rebearing and stuff. And then Brett Hunter's, I need to just get it on the dyno. They've been busy so much with our race coming up and stuff. We haven't had the time, but we'll get this thing on the dyno here in a sec and get it taken care of. I've got all the clamps and everything all buttoned up and done. I miss this thing. This thing is sick, dude. I loved Brett just drives it here, shows up one day. It's awesome. It's so cool. And just looks cool. Seeing the pictures online and stuff, oh, it's epic.